Good morning, true crime friends. Listen, are you ready for part 3 of this case? The Rose Petal case? Y'all, look, first, you know what you need to do. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you have not watched parts 1 and 2 of this series, please go back and watch part 1 and part 2 of this Rose Petal case out of South Carolina. Here's the thing. Part 3 is unhinged. I mean, okay, look. Full disclosure, parts 1 and 2 were a little bit crazy. I know you thought my brain was ticklish. I know you was like, Kathy, say what now? Say what? It was, part 3 was so crazy, I pulled all my hair out. Yeah, that is exactly what happened. It's not true that I'm getting new braids installed tomorrow. But look, in part 3 of this Rose Petal case, we find out more about John Mellow. John Mellow is the father of the child in this case, also the ex-boyfriend of Christina Parcells, the dearly departed. Okay, she's departed. I don't know how dearly she was. I don't know. And I thought I had a team in this case, right? I was like, okay, team John and that little girl. Then I was like, ooh, wait, team the victim, Christina Parcells. Now I'm like, are all of these people terrible? Is all of this just like a made-up thing? Is there a conspiracy theory afoot? I have no idea. Additionally, let me just add, in part 3 of this case is where I first introduced Jen Wood from down there at the Fitz News. In case you don't know, this whole Rose Petal case comes out of South Carolina by way of Will Folks. Y'all know how I feel about Will Folks. I have a very, very intense fake feud going on with him. I don't know the man well enough to dislike him. So I can't say I really, really dislike him, but I really, really, really enjoy having a fake feud with him. It's kind of one of the highlights of my week. Anyway, so, Jen Wood down there at the Fitz News. When I first heard about her, I was like, oh, so Will Folks just gonna go out here and try and replace Mandy Matney? Mandy Matney is irreplaceable. And so I may or may not have made up an unflattering nickname for Jen Wood before I met her and found out what an entire delight she is. I now consider her to be one of my friends, but back in the day, I didn't know her. Also, I had no idea that the internet reached all the way to South Carolina. So when I was trash talking her, it never occurred to me that she would hear it because I have manners. I talk behind people's back the way the Lord intended. And so when she reached out and was like, your coverage was hilarious. And I was like, girl, what'd I say about you? Oops, I'm sorry. Now listen. If you do me wrong, I'll talk bad about you to your face without an apology. But that Jen Wood, also that Callie Lyon, and that little fetus boy Dylan down there at the Fitz News, they are all perfectly wonderful human beings and adorable. But I may or may not have called Jen Wood discount Mandy Matney, or DMM for short. But look, we're going to overlook that. We're going to overlook that. Please grab yourself a cup of coffee and enjoy this throwback episode of Lunchtime True Crime, where we talk the Rose Petal murder case, part 3, John Mellow. Friends, welcome back to Lunchtime True Crime. Oh my gosh. Listen, this is what you need to understand about this case. I have not watched everything all the way through the whole series and then I come back and break it down one by one. No, I'm learning every week, every episode. I'm learning new things about this case. What I learned today has blown my mind. I may have judged everyone all wrong. Okay, look. First things first, hit the like button. When you come through the door, first thing you do is just say hey, you get your fork for your lunch, get your napkin and everything. Then you hit the like button and then we can get right into it. We need to talk about John. None other than John Mellow. This is the baby daddy. John Mellow is the father of Christina Parcells' 9-year-old daughter, right? And I'm like, oh, this poor guy. He found out that his ex-girlfriend was doing terrible things and abusing the child, and he whisked her off to Italy. I do not know why Italy, but he's whisked her off to Italy. Who is scratching at the door? Dang dogs. Okay, they're not barking, but now they're just scratching at the doggone door. So look. He's whisked this child off to Italy for her own protection. And I was like, whew, thank goodness there's a good father like him in the picture. And then I found out the rest of the information. Okay, batten down the hatches. I can't talk today. I'm so excited. Okay, John Mello says, send an email to Discount Mandy Madney. This lady named Jen Wood. Jen Wood works for Fitz News over there with Will folks. And after Mandy Madney left, they got Jen Wood. Jen's all right, but she's no Mandy Madney. She's Discount Mandy Madney. But anyway, so Discount Mandy Madney started getting emails from John Mello. And it's like, okay, good. She has a good inside source and we can find out everything from his point of view about the case. Only John might be doing too much. John might be doing much too much. He sends Discount Mandy Madney, aka Jen Wood. Can we just call her Discount Mandy Madney? Do we have to call her by her name? I mean, respect would dictate that we call her by her name, but she's DMM as far as I'm concerned. Discount Mandy Madney. So, John Mello, the father, I mean, he is the father, but he's like he's the protector of this young child, started sending emails to DMM over there at Fitz News to be like, girl, I got to tell you the whole story. And so DMM was like, well, yes, sir. Let me get my pen. Go ahead and tell me your whole story. So he's like, okay, to protect my child, I had to take her back to my homeland of Italy. And I was like, oh, that's why he went to Italy. That makes perfect sense. Okay, he's going to take his child over to Italy and they're going to live safely tucked away with his family, and the child will be safe from her mama, who was a Pedialyte, right? Okay, great. So, I'm like, okay, tell me more. And so then DMM was like, so he was like, oh, other people who support me will also be sending you messages. And she was like, okay, great. So she stopped getting messages from John Mello and started getting emails from his supporters. Only it turns out he might have been all the supporters. She doesn't say it, but she says it. This is him. She's like, all the email messages are like ranting and raving and sound exactly like him, written from different emails and different people in the same voice, using the same kinds of words that he always uses. Okay, maybe he was just trying to drum up support for his case. I tried to give this man the benefit of the doubt. Also, DMM don't seem that bright. I mean, I could be wrong. I am 100% willing to be wrong. But Jen Wood, okay, girl. So Jen is like, I started getting messages from him that were increasingly unhinged. And I was like, well, he's in a stressful situation and some terrible things have happened to him. DMM, why don't you just go back and give us his history and tell us the whole story? And she must have heard me thinking, because she was like, so what I'm going to do is go back and give you the history and tell us his whole story. And I'm thinking, okay, he was born in a small village in Italy 63 years ago. Turns out he was born in Massachusetts. Sir, What you're not going to do in this case is just flat out lie to us from the jump. You just going to lie about where you was born when public records are publicly available and we can see that your behind was born in Massachusetts. Does he have an Italian accent? Have we heard him talk? Does he sound like a asshole when he talks? I need to hear him say something publicly and on the record, not just to the press. Okay, but first, he married a nice lady named Linda. And I was like, okay, that's good. Young love. I love young love. That's so sweet. He marries this lady, Linda, and they both were super into music. And they opened this bar because Linda's daddy was like a doctor or something. He's like, you kids, you crazy. Here's a little money for you to get married and for you to open a bar. And this bar became a very like prominent hangout for all like the musical, artistic type folks. Okay, great. They're having a lovely time. Everything is going great. Only John starts physically abusing his first wife, Linda. So all the people at the bar, listen, you know them drunks got opinions. They was like, I take Linda's side. I take John's side. So it kind of divided the bar. The two of them continued to run the bar, only some nights Linda would work and some nights John would work. So on the nights John would work, all the people who liked him would show up at the bar. And on Linda's nights, all of her fans would work. And they would figure out who was working based on whose car was parked in the parking lot. Great, fine. But then there started being charges that he physically abused her. That's not John, sir, because you know this is all public record, right? Because she called the popo and they came over there and he threw a lamp at her and he did all these things. Okay, okay, this is not good, but they're going through a contentious divorce. That is not an excuse to throw a lamp at somebody. Okay, but then there are other claims of physical abuse, and the divorce dragged on and was uglier and uglier and uglier. Finally, Linda was like, look, I'm going to give you a little piece of money and you go ahead and take the money and go. I'm going to take this broken down bar and I'm going to fix it up and I'm going to name it after myself. It was Linda's something or other bar. So everybody can know, if you was Team John, don't be coming up in here. This is now the Linda bar. And so everybody was like, okay, we will continue to rot our livers over at Linda's place. And all the John fans, they're going to have to rot their livers someplace else. Meanwhile, Linda got herself a boyfriend. Like you do when you're young and cute and divorced and you always up at the bar. You know, she was meeting her some menses, and the men's who was trying to get them some free liquor or thought Linda was cute or whatever, they were like, hey, Linda girl. So, John started threatening, like, increasing levels of violence against Linda's boyfriend and threatening physical attacks, threatening to blow him up, just like he was known to carry lots of guns, increasing levels of physical attacks, threats. He didn't actually do it, but threats. And then when he would go into the bar periodically, he was known to tase people for fun. Call me crazy. Now, no matter how much alcohol you've had, and no matter what a good idea it seems like, tasing people does not seem that fun for the taser or the tasee. Like, if you get tased, that's obviously not going to be good for you. But if you're tasing people, I would think that's an extreme measure because you were very upset. Not just like, oh, we're having a great time, let me tase you. That's not a thing. And then he was sending out mailings in the mail, calling his ex-wife a lady of the night and whatever. Okay. So all the neighbors, all the friends, the people at the bar, everybody is filing restraining orders against this unhinged Massachusetts man, John Mellow. And I'm like, oh, okay. So he might not be the most credible source of what was going on over in his ex-girlfriend's house, but that's okay. Eventually, he was like, I have found love again. I found wife number 2, and I'm going to go with my new wife and I'm going to do good things. He married a lady named Christina. And everybody was like, great, he found new love. He's going to leave first wife number 1, Linda, alone. And they were going great. Everything was fine. They get married. And then, money was a little bit tight. And so their gas got turned off. Okay, that's unfortunate, but that happens sometimes. John did not take it well. And so he called the gas company and was like, yeah, I know I didn't pay the bill, but I'm gonna need y'all to turn this gas back on because we was enjoying the cooking and the heat and the hot water stuff. And they was like, yeah, right. We gonna need our money first. And they were like, he was like, we don't have none of that. But what I would like is for you to turn my gas back on. And they were like, yeah, sir, that's not how that works. We're gonna need you to pay the past due bill and then we will turn your gas back on. And so he was like, okay, I have a better solution. And so he started filing threats, writing threatening letters to the people at the gas company, including threats to blow up the entire gas facility. Sir, you can't, I don't know if nobody told you. Like, look, legitimately, maybe nobody ever said to him, when you're upset, you can't threaten to blow up the gas company. Not just like the guy on the phone. Everybody gets frustrated with customer service. Oh my goodness, I know how frustrating it could be. But you can't threaten to unalive them. You can't threaten to blow the place up. He threatened so many people in his neighborhood, so many people in the area. Eventually, he must have come up with the money because they got his gas turned back on. But so many people were under threat of this man that they formed a Facebook group called Mellow Drama. What? Okay, first of all, how do I become a member? Just because I want to read and be all up on the who's who and the what's what and in the know. But like, what, sir? You have threatened and had these increasingly unhinged tirades against so many people that there's an entire Facebook group about you're crazy? That's bad, sir. That's not good. So then he gets together with Christina Parcells. Okay, great. Maybe third time's the charm. He didn't have kids with those first 2 ladies as far as I could tell. But now he had a baby with Christina. By this time, he's in his 60s and Christina is in her like 20s. So she's young. She probably doesn't know about his unhingedness. I wonder if she could tell, because It's hard to hide this level of crazy. And something tells me he was probably not hiding it that good, but maybe she had poor judgment. So she gets with this dude, and he's sweet and he's nice, and they have a baby together, and then they break up, and he's just like, oh, no. No, what you're not going to do is take my child away from me. And so when they broke up, he was like raging a crazy custody battle, including all kinds of threats and saying that like people are out after him, people are out to get him. And then he's just like setting up other people to look guilty. Sir, did he plant them bunny pictures? I'm not saying, but allegedly for entertainment purposes only. Did he put the bunny pictures? Was she really just like good with the kitties and stuff? And then he planted the pictures that she was doing terrible things to the bunnies and the kitties and the whatever else. I have concerns. Okay. So, his anger kept getting bigger and bigger and crazier and crazier. And he was known to do increasingly outlandish things to get back at her, including, but not limited to, going to the press to say, in my custody battle, everything is unfair. And you know what else is happening that they're not investigating? She did domestic violence against me. And the police officer that they sent to investigate it, she had an affair with him. And the people at Child Protective Services, they were corrupt too. Discount Mandy Madney, can you investigate them? And everybody was like, nah, boo-boo, you're a little bit crazy. And so he was like, you know who else needs to be arrested? Christina's sister, because she was involved, and there's drugs. Did you know there was drugs? And so now I'm like, wait, all the accusations about the buggery and the Pedialyte and all these terrible people, all that is coming from John Mello? Is this just more melodrama? Are terrible things really happening? Or are they just happening in his mind? Does he have that Lori Vallow Daybell disease where he's just like delusional and he thinks people are out to get him and he's just like next level crazy? I do not know. These people? Oh, South Carolina. What's going on? Is South Carolina the new Florida? I'm not trying to shade any states. Exactly. Okay, so sometimes I shade states. Texas, hey, Texas, I see y'all. Ohio, y'all got some things going on. South Carolina, y'all about to be Florida level. Because I also heard this week about a dude who killed 6 members of his family in some sort of Green Pond massacre in South Carolina. Do they not have laws? What is happening? I can't. All I can say is I cannot with y'all South Carolina. So we have to find out, is Linda Mello, wife number 1, safe? Is Cassandra Mello, wife number 2, safe? Christina Parcells, the girlfriend and the lover number 3, whatever, she clearly is not safe because she is unalive over there in a pool of rose petals, and they put the nice musical dude up to it. Oh, turned out at one point, John Mello wanted to work for some like musician guy as a producer, and he interviewed John, and he was like, yeah, no, you're not a good fit for me. And then he proceeded to harass this man like forever, to the point that they had to call the police. He was saying like, oh, this dude is a Pedialyte and this dude does this and does that. And I'm like, I'm sensing a theme. The buggery is new, but it may not be real. It might have been faked by crazy John Mello. And John Mello is like, I was just trying to protect my child and take her back to my homeland of Italy. Sir, your homeland is Massachusetts. I'm scared. Should I even post this video? Will I be safe? Will John and his melodrama come after me? I don't. Thank God I can hide behind the bookshelf, which is very sturdy. And then I can throw the books on the bookshelf at anybody who comes to get me. Oh my God. I don't know when Fitch Files is dropping the next episode of this ridiculous shenanigans called the Rose Petal, Rose whatever murder case. I'm nervous. John Mello is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, and I'm sure he is a delightful human being who does not know where I live. I live in Kansas and nowhere near North Jersey, and that is all. Team John, y'all listen. If I go missing, it was John Mello. Okay, Hopefully there's another video up tomorrow. If not, y'all know what happened. Be safe out there and enjoy the rest of your lunch. Bye.